So I had a big win today. 4 months later, I finally got my first client call. So this is after countless cold emails, cold calls, actually, walking up to at least one gym owner and asking if he'd be interested in my services, even on a pro bono basis, because I'm still building my portfolio. I finally got that one call, and I was super excited, obviously at first, and then hoping it wouldn't be, someone who would ghost me, because I'm so used to getting ghosted. I've had a couple people who scheduled some calls with me that ghosted me twice. After a while, I was just actually the past couple of weeks, I've been feeling super discouraged because of that. So I was off IG for about a week because I was really discouraged that I wasn't really making any progress as far as getting clients and things like that. So when I finally hopped back on IG, I saw the message and the reply from my message, just reaching out, asking if, this person would be interested in any web design services. And he actually responded, and I said, hey, let's that's cool, let's set up a call. And so I sent him a Calendly link, and we just hopped on a Zoom call like a couple hours ago, and it went very well. And this person that I actually hit up is Jared Phelps. I've been watching him on YouTube. His YouTube handle is Lens of Jared. And he's a photographer, videographer mostly. And even though he's not in the same space as me as far as design, it's still a creative field. But the thing that really drew me to his content was him documenting his journey. His journey starting his production company, and just the way he goes about approaching clients, doing cold calls. He's actually recording all of that, documenting everything, and rolling up to car dealerships and asking him if he could shoot like a free promo and things like that. Like, that stuff I had never seen before on YouTube. That was really motivating, because I thought this is something I never thought would be helpful to building a business and getting clients. It was actually content creation and vlogging and things like that. So I was watching Homeboy for 4 or 5 months, like at least a month before I started New PR Design. So it was super motivating, and I thought, man, if I could document the process, which I've been trying to do, but I haven't been doing it in a vlog style way, that would be really cool if I did that. And to see, even if nobody's watching, but I'm putting it together and seeing the progress, I thought that would be dope to see as well, to see that entire journey kind of play out. So anyway, I hit him up and see if he'd be interested. He replied, set up the Zoom call, and it was very productive, quick call. Probably lasted maybe 20 minutes or something like that. I took a lot of notes, a lot of scribbly notes right here, just in this section. A lot of scribbly notes, shorthand. I'll kind of go over it. But the first thing I did was in the meeting, I was like, just to get these two things out of the way, sorry I responded 6 days later, and I told him how Kyle was super discouraged about not getting any clients and stuff like that since I started. He was totally understandable about that, and then also the thing about me just being sick and getting over the flu, and me sounded all nasally and stuff. And he's super down to earth. He's, usually when you hop on these calls, you want to keep it professional, but I also want to be human at the same time. So I just didn't jump in and was like, so what can I do for you type thing. That's not really how I like to roll. I want to just at least, act a little human. So yeah, and he was totally cool with all that stuff. And then, you know, the next thing was just like me letting him know how much, you know, I appreciate what he does, and telling him how I've been following him for a while, and that I would be totally down to help, you know, redesign your website pro bono. Because again, I'm in the portfolio building stage still, even though I've designed about 5 projects, but I still think, you know, doing this pro bono would be super helpful. And I told him this, I was like, I wouldn't mind doing this pro bono, because this is all about the experience for me. And also if it's something that, you know, he likes, that I make that he likes, you know, getting the referrals and just, you know, blasting my name out there, or, you know, my business, will be cool. Like, that would be, if I'm thinking long term as far as getting clients, like, I feel like just, you know, instead of like trying to get that person who's gonna pay me, like, I feel like this would be more valuable. And yeah, so he said that's cool, obviously. But I also told him that, I was like, hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. You know, that's real talk. Like, you know, he's got, you know, his Lens of Jared site, which is the one he started with. And then I didn't know that he had the filmclubprod.com website up. So he's got these 2 websites as backups. So, you know, if whatever I create, you know, and he's not feeling it, or for whatever reason, I was like, just don't use it. You know, I just want the opportunity to make something dope for you. So that's really the goal. And then I went into asking him, you know, some of the things that he was looking for in his site, and he gave me some of the things that he liked and disliked about his current website, which was great. And some of the things that, as far as like look and feel, it's similar to what I like as well, how I like to design, as far as like adding a lot of textures, grainy, noisiness. Then I went into kind of the process of, you know, how we'll be communicating via Trello, and I told him he could obviously hit me up on IG, email, whatever, however he wants to communicate. But I told him mostly just to save him time, that he could just reach out to me via Trello. And then, yeah, I mean, and it was really cool too that he wasn't tripping on, you know, what platforms I used to make the site, because I wanted to be flexible. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I hope that, you know, he's cool with what I use. And, you know, I told him I use Framer and Webflow to make the websites, and he was totally fine with that. He said, whatever you're more comfortable with is fine with me. And, you know, it was really cool that he's very understanding about that. So yeah, we talked about that. I'm probably gonna build it out, not just thinking out loud, I'm probably gonna build it out in Framer. So when I do the handoff, a lot of the UI in Framer it's easy, it's super user friendly. Then it might be easier for him, but I mean, that could change. Who knows? As I'm designing and as I'm developing it, it could change back to Webflow. So we'll see. But for now, I'm thinking Framer. You know, something else that we talked about, he was really cool about, you know, giving some tips about vlogging, because I told him, because he asked me, he said, you know, are you documenting the process? And I was like, yeah, but I'm doing it mostly, you know, without a talking head, like, because I'm not comfortable speaking in front of a camera, even now, even after all this time that I've been, you know, recording my process here in the studio, and you know, doing screen shares and time lapses and things like that. I haven't done the talking head thing fully on a normal weekly, daily basis. He said that's totally fine. You get used to it after a while. He said he's been doing it for a couple of years already. And like, even when he's out and about and he's vlogging, it seems kind of weird when people are looking at you, but he says most people don't really care what you're doing. They don't, they really don't care. So if it's like something that I'm worried about other people looking at me funny because I have a camera out with me and I'm vlogging and talking to it, he said, don't even worry about that. Nobody really cares what you're doing. So I just told him it's just a self-conscious thing on my part that I just have to get over eventually, which is why I decided to just start talking, a couple hours after our call. I mean, that was basically our conversation. And I think it went really well. Super excited to get started with this project. We're gonna start documenting more of this journey and how I'm gonna start his project. I think just need to be cognizant of, when I do start working on stuff, is to always have the cameras recording. The next step really is just to do research. So I want to continue to do research like how I do all my other projects, research what Jared has going on right now, all of his content. When we get started on that, you're gonna see what's up. All right, y'all.